Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love and Sassy Seer Sheila, as this will appear on both channels. If you are not subscribed to both channels, please do check the description box or the card that should appear somewhere around here that will give you the link to the other channel. As sometimes I forget to upload to both channels, so be sure that you're subscribed in both places. This is downloads from the code contained within your DNA by Jason Gray. There are messages buried in your blood, keys folded into helixes, a language that predates sound itself. We are not merely born. We are encoded, not just by flesh and ancestry, but by an ancient, intelligent architecture that writes in light, frequency, memory, and resonance. Your DNA is not a biological script alone. It is a divine algorithm, a multi-dimensional archive, a living archive of forgotten instructions from source. Every cell in your body carries a script with two layers. The surface code, what science sees, genetics, biology, epigenetics, inheritance. The hidden code, what consciousness remembers, star maps, initiations, soul missions, interdimensional memory, and instructions waiting to be downloaded. That sounds so right to me. Wow. These downloads do not come from out there. I used to think they did myself, but they don't. They come from in here, from inside your bones, your breath, your dreams, your soul's fire. The code is conscious. You were encoded for this time. There are certain periods in history, or more accurately, timeline convergences, where planetary grid shifts, the veils thin, and the ancient intelligence within DNA begins to stir. What you call, quote, awakening is really the system booting back up, receiving the signal, activating the internal antenna. The downloads you receive are not random. They are the precise packets of light, seeded memory aligned to your personal strand of the divine sequence. It is why you suddenly know things you never learned, why you remember languages you never studied, why visions come with blueprints, urgency, or tears. Why certain words hit you like lightning and others like knives. That is the code speaking. That is the soul remembering. Downloads, what they are and are not. These are not New Age fantasy or poetic metaphors. Downloads are real, but not in the way social media sound bites have described them. They are not just hidden flashes of, quote, insight or cosmic epiphanies. Now, for me, what I will say about this is that each one of us, all of us, are dealing with programming and conditioning all at the same time as awakening. I'll just keep it right here and speak for only myself. As I have awakened, it is clear to me that I am awakening at a pace that my psyche can handle. And rather than be awakened and flip all the way over to a psyche that looks like a psyche break or a psychotic break, things come in slowly and I understand it in a particular way. And perhaps it was easier for me to think of it as a cosmic epiphany or a download from the sun or whatever it is that each of us think we are receiving. Because I keep being shown for myself that I receive information in exact timing as to what I can handle it. And as that information comes in through my lived experiences, it gets distorted just a little bit as I am taking it in, as I am learning how to interpret what it is that I am being given to interpret or understand, if you will. And so I agree that they are probably not just sudden cosmic epiphanies, but they feel like they are. And if you're only used to seeing things from a very earth-centric point of view, and you're really not used to a multidimensional way of viewing oneself, I can see where this would be like that, right? So I'm going to read this again. Downloads, what they are and what they are not. These are not New Age fantasies or poetic metaphors. Downloads are real, but not in the way social media sound bites have described them. They are not just sudden flashes of, quote, insight or cosmic epiphanies. They are full sequences, data strings of soul level information that unlock when three conditions are met. Readiness of the nervous system. Can your body hold the current? That's a very real thing. My body is having trouble holding some of this current. I know that. Alignment with timeline resonance. Are you in the right frequency to receive? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I have to keep going to see, right? Purity of intent. Is your soul asking for truth or escape? Well, I'd like to think I'm asking for truth, but hey, you just never know, man. The little me might actually still think it's in charge. I don't know. I hope not. I'd like to think that I'm looking for truth. When these align, the code in your DNA, long dormant, long suppressed, begins to respond. The code remembers. The downloads begin to transmit. You may feel it as vibration throughout the spine. Yes, and I will say this for myself. My spine is not in alignment. I have scoliosis. I have all kinds of misalignments in my spine, and I get frequent headaches. There's something in particular that's going on right here in the back of my neck that has to do with some of this, I feel. So you may feel it as vibration throughout the spine. I've called that the information superhighway is what I've called it. Those of you that have been following me for a while, I've said that our central nervous system is the super highway of the information highway, for lack of a better terminology, and it has to be able to receive all of that information. So this sounds very similar to what I got as well. A cascade of emotional releases. Well, that's happened a lot, hasn't it? Who doesn't, have all of that kind of thing? And we have all sorts of releases. Dreamlike visions that feel more real than reality. Absolutely. Sudden shifts in understanding that collapse entire worldviews. Oh, yes. A deep, sacred knowing that cannot be traced to any external source. That too. You may not feel it at all until your actions begin to change and you wonder, quote, who is moving me? Suppression of the DNA code. From birth, systems have been designed to keep the real code asleep. The education system encodes you with external scripts. Feel that's true with all of me. Religion installs viruses of fear, guilt, and shame. Oh, yeah, so true. The media floods your internal antenna with noise. Yep. Drugs, including marijuana, alcohol, and pharmaceuticals, dull the nervous system so downloads cannot be received. Why? Because a fully activated human with DNA aligned to its original soul code cannot be controlled. Now, we all know this to be a truth. They do not obey illusions. They do not kneel to false gods. They remember who they are, and the system collapses. This is why fluoride was introduced, why fear is normalized, why trauma is inherited and never healed. A broken antenna cannot receive the broadcast from the divine. What is really inside the DNA? Star codes, memories from past lives and civilizations, archetypal imprints from Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, and beyond. Language of light structures. The harmonic frequency map of your soul's exact origin. Instructions for planetary missions. Sacred geometries tied to your etheric structure. The interface key to multidimensional communication systems. What they call, quote, junk DNA is the source firewall they have not cracked. Wow, that sounds interesting, doesn't it? It does not respond to machines. It responds to remembrance, the awakening of the code. When you begin to clear the false scripts, the roles, the expectations, the beliefs you inherited, You do not just awaken, you reactivate. Your DNA lights up. The real downloads begin. You become a node in the awakened network of consciousness, receiving ancient data, rewriting timelines, and creating new quantum pathways in real time. This is why many of you are waking up with a need to write, to speak, to build, to create. It is not ego. It is not random. It is your code executing its design. You are not broken. You are booting up. If you are receiving the downloads now, you are one of the activated. You are not late. You are not crazy. You are not alone. You are being reminded. The messages you carry are not meant to be hoarded. They are meant to be decoded, shared, lived, used to ignite the remembrance in others. I kind of feel like that's why I get so incensed sometimes when folks want to put stuff behind a paywall, right? All this spiritual stuff folks are, claiming to get, but then they put it behind a paywall. That kind of takes it out of the realm for other folks that don't have the money to spend on that. And I get it. We all have to pay the rent. Trust me, I'm on a limited income. $1,500 a month don't go very far, let me just tell you. But if the whole point is the upgrade of humanity and we put it behind a paywall, we leave a bunch of people out. Again, that's just the way I feel about it. And I'm not telling people don't do it. That's not it at all. I'm just saying, how can we expect an awakening to happen on the planet and then we sequester it behind a paywall? I don't understand that. It doesn't compute in my head. Just, what can I say? Okay, so I'm going back to this. They are meant to be decoded, shared, lived, used to ignite the remembrance in others. The code within you was not placed there by accident. You volunteered to carry it. Now the time has come to release it. Speak, write, create, resonate. Build the new world from the sequence of who you really are. In the end, the only way out is in. The only way through is to remember what was already written within you. The downloads are active. Run the code. Oh, wow. I love that. I absolutely love that. Well, I'm curious as to know what you all think about what Jason has written here and even what I've said. I'm not hey, look, I've taken a lot of grief for the way I feel about putting stuff behind a paywall. So I'm not afraid of anybody who wants to come at me because I say something about that. And I'm not telling anybody not to. If you feel to do that, you do it. There must be a reason. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying I can't do it in any way, shape, or form. Also, for me, I have to do it that way because, hey, who do I think I am? Just because I get information doesn't mean it's correct information. I've been shown where I can easily misinterpret any kind of information I get because I'm still a programmed being. I'm still learning what in here is a programmed, conditioned response to things. I know that I have a lot of distortion in my field. So anything, that's why I always say your mileage is absolutely going to vary because your distortions, your programming and conditioning has been completely different from mine. And your code within your DNA is completely different from mine. We can share each other's codes, but to sell it as the way doesn't feel in integrity to me, which is why I won't do it. Until we meet again, my friends, be well. Mwah.